Randy Bachman talks about that, and you've heard the story, that Gretsch guitar that he lost 45 years ago, and how he found it again. It's an hard to believe story, and how he's making plans to actually play with it again and exchange guitars. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music.
I'm doing my Gretsch documentary, which you might have heard was stolen in 76. We found it in Tokyo. We're waiting to go to Tokyo now to do the switch with Takeshi, who has my orange Gretsch. And I had to find its twin, and I did. I found its sister, made in the same week from 1957. I showed it him on Zoom, so I'm going to go there with Takeshi to Tokyo, probably play guitar boogie or taking care of business or something. And in the middle of the song, hand him the Gretsch I got for him, and he's going to hand me mine back. I will be in absolute breakdown tears because the guitar was kidnapped, stolen in 1978 from the Holiday Inn, 76 Holiday Inn in Toronto, and I never saw it for 50 years.
And you never knew what happened, right? You never knew what happened. Who took it?
No, it was stolen. I went to the OPP, the Mounties, put it everywhere. It was gone. And because of COVID, and I've told this story many times, for Fontel and I we had nothing to do. Our gigs were all canceled. We did a thing called Friday Night Trainwreck, Bachman and Bachman. And it was really Wayne's World on steroids, because he would show up with 5 or 6 songs that I'd never played, because he's like from 2 generations, he's like 25 years younger than me. And I would show up with songs he never played. You've heard them, but you've never really played them or tried to get, and we would try to stump each other, and we would play the wrong chord, the wrong lyrics. We'd start in the wrong key, and people loved it because they could see professionals making mistakes just like them. And hundreds and thousands of people would follow our YouTube with a guitar and try and play along and change key with us, because they said everything on the radio is perfect. You've done 30 vocal tracks, you pull each lyric or each syllable. Your guitar solo might be a triple and you've comped that solo. We like to hear you guys make mistakes. So in the middle of all this, we're doing one. And when you're doing a live YouTube, up at the side of your screen comes a little thing that goes, "Nice pants, buddy." Oh, man, that was really a bad chord. And one comes up that says, "I found your Gretsch guitar." And
During a live feed?
I say to Tal, "Find this guy." Who's this guy? A guy named William Long in White Rock, who can't even spell the word Gretsch. He doesn't even know what a Gretsch is, but he knows mine was stolen. He does facial recognition. He finds the BTO video of Looking Out for Number One, which is the last time I played that guitar. It's on YouTube. He does a close-up of my orange Gretsch. He puts it on his screen. He then Googles every orange Gretsch sold on the internet in the last 15 years and pulls it down. And mine had a little flaw in it, which was just a piece of the grain of the wood, because Gretsches are made out of plywood, so a beautiful knot in the wood, and he finds the matching knot. And 2 weeks later, he sends me a thing. He says, "I found your guitar. It's with a guy named Takeshi. He does not speak English. He's like the Japanese Brian Setzer. He plays rockabilly. He's got your guitar." My son Tal, his partner is Eriko Yamamoto from Japan 6 years ago. She then emails his website and gets an answer, because I can't talk to this guy because he doesn't know English. So Eriko sets up a Zoom with him and his manager. I'm on the Zoom. He brings out my guitar. Literally, I start sobbing. I have not seen this guitar for 50 years. I mowed lawns. I delivered papers. I babysat to get the $400 to buy that guitar. On it, I played Shakin' All Over. I wrote and played These Eyes Laughing, Undone, Taking Care of Business, American Woman, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. That guitar's on every record, and it's gone. And I see it, and I'm totally verklempt, and I'm like sobbing. And it's pretty amazing. And then he says, "I'm an honorable man. I did not steal this guitar." I said, "I know that. You're only 30 years of age. This was stolen 30 years ago, 50 years ago." And he says, "But I will give it back to you." I go, "What?" He says, "No, I am honorable. I realize this is your guitar. I knew when I heard this guitar, the guitar spoke to me. Take me home and look after me. I've been looking after this guitar. I've had it for 6 years." I said, "That's amazing." He says, "But no matter what language you're speaking," because he's speaking Japanese, when he says "but," it's like the universal F word. You know what he means. So I said to Eriko, "What does the 'but' mean?" "But you must find its sister. He does not want a new guitar from Gretsch. He wants one just like his. It must be made in the same year, 1957. It should have no mods and no repairs. It has to be mint catalog. Are you kidding? Okay, Takeshi, I got it. Click. I call every guitar guy because I've collected 385 Gretches and sold them to Fred Gretsch for his museum, which is now in Savannah, Georgia. I call every guitar guy, find one in Loveland, Ohio. He's got 3 of them. I said, send your best guitar players in, because every guitar player works in a music store, especially in the shutdown. Find the one that has no mods, no repairs, and that sounds good and have the de-arming pickups with a good case. They find one and send it to me. It's 3 digits off of my serial number, which means it was made in the same week by the same guys in the same place. I do a Zoom with Takeshi. He is verklempt. Now we're going to go and trade the guitars. We're waiting for May to do that so we could travel. We're doing a documentary on this called Lost and Found, the Magical Guitar. In the middle of all this, Tal and I are going to release the album, which we recorded. And I'm going to play the last song on the closing credits on my Gretsch when I get it, called The Magical Guitar, because Tal has told me bluntly, when the guitar was stolen in 76, I lost my magic. I'd written 12 hit songs. And even though I was okay after that with Any Road and recording with Neil Young and doing Prairie Town, I never hit that #1 album and single, which I did twice. And the only other guy that done it is McCartney. 2 different bands, 2 #1 singles and album. And Tal said, if you get it back, you might get the magic back. You might hit #1 again. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but it's a great part of the story. So now it's called Lost and Found, the Magic Guitar. It's like Dumbo's Magic Feather or the Silver Bullet, right? It's the catalyst of the whole thing.
Well, something like that can change the trajectory of your life, even if you don't know it consciously.
Yeah, totally life-changing. And every day, something happens to do with that Gretsch. I did a phone call last week with Takeshi for BBC Radio and BBC Podcast, which when it is on in the middle of February, will reach over 100 million people. All of the UK. This is their special thing, like 60 minutes, a half-hour special, where I tell the story. They've got all the video clips of then and now. They got me playing. She surprised me. Said, "Would you play Mr. Sandman?" I said, "Sure." So I played Sandman. I played Shakin' All Over, and Takeshi and I do Taking Care of Business, and it tells the whole story. And now we've got guys in LA that are doing a rockumentary of this, of the whole story of the guitar, because Erico, Tal's partner, Coco, also filmed us for our YouTube and recorded us for sound. She's amazing. So she's recorded every one of these things I've had with Takeshi and Fred Gretsch in Georgia. So we now have really good, she's got a really great camera. We've got this whole thing documented, and they might get somebody really cool to narrate it and interview me, like Kiefer Sullivan or Jeff Bridges, some guy who's an actor, but who's a rocking actor who plays his guitar. So this whole thing is in the middle of evolving, and in the middle, Tal and I will release our album.
This has gotten a life of its own. It's so much bigger now. I mean, poetic justice, you got it at last. But I'm excited about it because I do believe in that kind of thing. I really think that when I look, I have still got my journals here. We just moved to Moncton from Calgary. I've got all my journals. I can see where things change in one's life. And that was a big thing. I know the story about you saving your money. And I mean, that's an amazing thing. Now, keep in mind the entire interview, and the link is in the bottom in the description of this video. If you want to see the whole thing, it's on our sister channel, Rock History Book. It's also going to be a podcast, and the links are in the description as well. Make sure you comment on our videos. You know we read all the comments. Subscribe to our channel. It's so important to us. And of course, spread the word. Let people know. And share our videos. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music. Take good care of yourself.